Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jorge. If you're new here, welcome. I like to do DIY decor, thrift flips, room makeovers, and today we're here at the Dollar Tree. So I was thinking when I was younger, I have always really liked, decor and designing and stuff. And so I used to go to the Dollar Tree and make cool, well, I thought were cool, like room decor and things like that. So I haven't actually really been to the Dollar Tree in a little bit, and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do some home decor. Now if you're watching this video, I probably found some things that are cool, but my goal is to make some really cool things that don't look DIY, if you know what I mean. So let's just go take a look inside and see what we can find. Okay, so I made my way over to the party section mostly because they always have these really cool plastic containers that have a really cool shape to them. They're a little bit more modern, so maybe I could do something with this. I really like this bowl right here. It has like a really nice curve. Then in the floral section, they always have these really cool items. I spotted this awesome bowl here. It is plastic, but the shape of it is very modern. And I figured maybe it could go well with that base right there and kind of make like a pedestal bowl. So that could be a really good option. I also spotted this diffuser. I wonder if it actually works. If anyone's tried it, let me know. Also, check out these really cool succulents. They're actually not bad for $1. They're not the best quality, but they're not the worst quality either. I think it's worth checking out. Now I spotted this awesome round mirror. This could be a really cool DIY project, maybe a starburst mirror or something like that. Very, very nice. And also it's solid glass. Next, I saw these really cool small vases. These could be spray painted or even painted with the baking soda technique. Overall, a really cool texture. They could be paired with other vases that they have. A lot of these cool glass ones have a nice shape to them. Again, they could be painted, add some texture to make them feel like ceramic. Not bad for just $1. I was very impressed by this section. This crafting section has a lot of wooden materials, including these dowels. I just could not grab them faster. It comes in a pack of 10, and these dowels, I was not really sure at that time what project I was going to do, but I knew I had to use them somehow. Alright, let's head on home and let me show you the 3 ideas that I came up with. So for this first project, we're gonna go ahead and make vintage art. Now I love me some good vintage art, but one, it could be a little bit pricey and hard to find. And so why not just make it for $3? And I'm gonna show you how. To start off, we're gonna need 2 frames from the Dollar Tree. Now this one specifically, hopefully you can find, but it is sort of this like brassy gold frame, and then this one is also a gold one, but it sort of has like this fake wood on there. And the reason that these two are great is because you can stack them on top of each other like this to make one frame, and you can see the thickness here. That really makes it look a little bit more high-end than just a flimsy frame by itself. That will make it look really nice. For the artwork, you could just put a photograph into this top frame and call it a day, but to get the vintage art, I'm going to take one of these canvas panel that they also sell at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to also make sure it's the 8.5 or 8 by 10 inches. Both of these frames are 8 by 10 inches, and so the frame that is going to go on the top, like so, that will be the one that is going to hold the painted canvas in there. So take the top piece and essentially just take off the backing and also take off the paper, and we're not going to need the glass for this. And so if we take the canvas here, turn it over, it should fit into the frame like so. Then we're gonna glue this frame on top of this one like so, and then we'll get our art. But as you can see here, we got to remove these little I think they're called pegs, I'm not sure, I forget. But all you got to do is just wiggle it out. They come off pretty easily. I think we're gonna go ahead and paint this first, because once we put this on there and glue it on there, it's not coming off. So we have to go ahead and paint that first. Alright, first of all, I am not a painter, but this is a pretty foolproof way of painting something that's really nice. I took a couple tries, but here's the gist of it. Basically, you paint your canvas panel black, and then you get some white paint. And since it is vintage looking art, I am adding a little bit of yellow and brown and some green. It doesn't really matter which ones, but just get sort of a warm tone and sort of mix that together. And essentially you're going to use different shades of gray and sort of just like tap it with a bristle brush or any brush really, and then just paint different layers of gray, allow them to sort of dry in between coats a little bit, just so that you don't get a big smudge. And here I guess I'm kind of painting an abstract representation of clouds or mountains, I don't know. We'll find out what it ends up looking like. But yeah, it basically starts adding dimension by doing that. And for speeding up the process, I'm actually using a blow dryer just to dry the coats in between. And honestly, there is no right or wrong way to do this. Just have fun with it. If you feel like you messed up, you can always paint over it. It's not a big deal. And here is the final painting. I went ahead and added like another cloud slash mountain thing. I'm not really sure. Let me know what you think it looks like. And now we're moving on to the frame. Now remember that these two frames, they have a different tone in like gold, but that is okay because we're going to blend those two together and make it look like one solid frame. And what we're going to do first is go ahead and remove all of the glass and backing from the bottom frame. And please be careful with the glass. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and grab some black paint, and I'm going to paint the frames black. I know this sounds kind of weird, but what this is going to do is it's going to give it a more sort of distressed look, and it's going to create more depth. We want that paint in the crevices of the frames. And don't worry, because we're going to come with some rub and buff over this to bring back that gold and make it more cohesive. And you want to let your paint dry for a couple minutes, maybe like 5 to 10. You don't want the paint to dry out completely, but just enough so that it adheres some to the paint, to the frame. And then you're going to do the worst job of cleaning that up after, and get a paper towel and lightly dab off some of the paint. It's alright to have some paint, especially on the crevices, because that's what's going to create that vintage feel and create more sort of texture and depth. And then make sure that you still allow some paint on there. Now here I'm using a blow dryer just to make sure everything is completely dry before moving on to the rub and buff. Remember that the bottom frame is only going to be seen from the outer edge, so you don't really have to worry about the inside apart. Now for the rub and buff, I am using gold leaf. I think that is the best color from what I have seen. And so a little bit goes a long way, and I'm just using my finger to rub it onto the frames, and it already looks so much better. I think this is like the part where it all comes to life, and really working it into all of those different crevices, but still allowing that black to show through. That's what's going to create that vintage feel. Okay, so I went ahead and let the rub and buff dry completely, which it dries pretty fast. So I put the canvas into the small frame here, and we're gonna glue that up. Now I'm using this super glue fix-all adhesive. I think it's basically like E6000, so you can use that if you have that. I got this from the dollar store. And I'm going to be using some hot glue just to hold it into place while this dries. So I'm going to open it up. And just do small dabs. I don't want it to be running off towards the edges, so I'm just going to do small amounts. And I'm working pretty quickly before the glue dries out, and I'm going to use some hot glue just to secure it into place while the other dries, and then that should be it for this frame. So next up is a black pedestal bowl. Now I've seen these everywhere, and believe me, they can be pretty pricey. They have them at RH, Pottery Barn, West Elm, all of those. And so why not just make it for $2? Of course, it's not going to be the same quality, but for decor purposes, like, you're not even going to notice. Now I would not recommend it for food serving, but it would look really, really cute on like a bookshelf on top of some books. So you can't go wrong with this one. So let's get started. So for this project, it's actually pretty easy. You're going to need this plastic bowl from the floral section. I think it's meant for succulents. And then this glass candle holder is actually pretty popular. You can't miss this one. And then some glue adhesive. You can use E6000. I'm using flat black spray paint from Rust-Oleum and a hot glue gun. So you want to start off by removing the stickers from the bowl and the candle holder, and I find it really easy when I wash it with like hot water. It comes off really nicely. And I'm going to go ahead and start gluing the base to the bowl using some of that glue just around the perimeter of the bottom of the candle holder, and then some hot glue just to hold it into place while the other dries, and then just put it on there and centered. Then I'm going to go ahead and take some books and lay them on top of it just to secure it in place and just let it dry. Honestly, I just let it dry for like 20 minutes before I started spray paint. And finally, we're going to go ahead and give this 2 coats of spray paint, making sure that you allow it to dry in between each coat. I do not know why I was using a can of soda here. I think I was just trying to elevate it off of the ground. It's not necessary. Also, make sure that you paint the underside of the bowl just to get really nice coverage of the whole bowl. Honestly, that just about does it for this project. Again, it's a really simple project. So let's go ahead and take a look at the final look.
All right, for number three, we're gonna make a vase, and vases have been really just popular. They're timeless, and so this next one really gives me CB2 vibes. So let's just take a look at how I made it.
Now for this project, I'm going to be using a clear glass vase that is from the Dollar Tree, and then I'm going to also use 5 packages of the long wooden dowels. There's 10 per pack. Some duct tape to hold them all together, and if you want to paint it, I'm going to use some white paint as well as the E6000 or alternative like this. In this project, we're basically creating a fluted vase, and we will be doing that by gluing the dowels around the cylinder vase. Now, I thought it would be a really good idea to sort of save time by putting them all together and using some duct tape and taping them together. That way I don't have to glue each one individually. And so I think it actually worked out just fine. So you would just take some of the duct tape and glue them all together, making sure that they're as tight as possible and they're nice and perpendicular, like right angle. Otherwise, they will sort of twist when you end up gluing them. So get them as tight as you can and go ahead and put 2 strips of tape. That way that they don't move around. And so here I'm testing out how many of the dowels you actually need to cover this cylinder. Now if you're using this cylinder from Dollar Tree, what I eventually figured out is that you need about 147, so basically 5 packages minus 3 individual dowels, and that will be enough to cover the whole cylinder. Next, I'm just go ahead and painting the dowels both sides, and I'm giving it 2 coats since I am using white just to get maximum coverage. You do not have to paint, but if you want it to look more like a ceramic type, maybe painting it white would be the best option. But again, you can do whatever you want with this. Once the glue has dried completely, then we're going to go ahead and glue this onto the cylinder. And you want to make sure that the tape side is facing inward. So I'm going to take some of that glue, E6000 or equivalent, and lay out. You could put this directly on the vase or on the sticks as I did, and then using some of the hot glue just to hold it into place while the other dries, and just wrap it around the cylinder, get it nice and tight. As you can see there, I actually ended up needing 2 more, so that's why I'm saying about 147 sticks should be enough. And then I'm going to take some rubber bands just to secure it together while it all dries, and I'm just going to go ahead and let that dry for like 2 hours or so.
I love the way that this one turned out. I think um, maybe next time I wouldn't have painted it white. I would have maybe just left it the wood. But that's totally your call. Even spray painting it black, that could be really nice. You could throw in some branches, and yes, I grabbed some branches from a tree outside. No shame. And it'll really look high end. Alright, so that was today's video. I really had fun making these. I kind of want to do some more. Let me know if you're interested in that. Let me know down in the comments which one was your favorite. And also make sure give it a like. It'll really help out the YouTube channel and in the YouTube algorithm. Also subscribe for more DIYs, home decor content. I have lots more coming if that's something you want to see. So thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you all next time. Bye.